crawled through the empty corridors of Ashmere Asylum, its broken windows shuddering like the lungs of something that refused to die. They said the asylum was abandoned after the fire of 1976, but Dr. Mara Hensley knew that wasn't true. She'd seen the reports, flickering security footage, movement in the halls, a figure always standing just outside the range of light. Her research had brought her here tonight. One night to document the ruins before demolition began. One night to find out if the stories were true. Mara parked her car by the rusted gates. The Keep Out sign hung crookedly, swinging in the wind. The air smelled of ash and mildew. She tightened her coat and whispered, "Just one night." Then she stepped inside. The first door. Her flashlight beam cut through the dark. Dust floated like pale ash in the air. The entrance hall was still lined with cracked tiles, a massive reception desk split in half by rot. A sign above read, "Ward C, long-term isolation." The moment she read it, something clanged deep in the building. A metal door slamming shut. She froze. "Hello?" Only her voice came back. "Hello?" Her echo sounded wrong, delayed, slower. As she walked deeper into the asylum, her footsteps seemed to multiply. Hers and then one more just a half beat behind. The mirror room. She found the first strange thing in a patient therapy room. A cracked two-way mirror covered one wall, the kind used for observation. Her reflection stared back. Pale face, red hair, flashlight, trembling slightly. But as she stepped closer, her reflection didn't move. Her breath caught. She waved her hand. The reflection didn't follow, it just stood there watching her. She whispered, "What the hell?" Then the reflection smiled. Her own lips didn't move. The glass shuddered, spiderweb cracks racing across its surface. Behind the cracks, she saw something else, a dark shape standing over her shoulder. She spun around. Nothing. When she looked back, the mirror was empty. Her reflection was gone. The voices Mara began recording audio on her phone as she moved through the next hallway. November 10th, 2:14 a.m., inside Ashmere Asylum. Evidence of residual activity near Ward C. Possible temperature anomaly. Her voice echoed. Then another voice whispered through the static. Low, male, and close. "You shouldn't have come back." Mara's hand shook. "Who's there?" The recorder hissed, then cut out. In the silence, she heard breathing. Slow, uneven, directly behind her ear. She turned, heart pounding. The hallway was empty, but the air felt heavier. She hurried on, boots echoing in the dark. Every doorway she passed seemed to have something inside it, shapes just out of sight, hunched forms that disappeared when she looked straight at them. The patient files. Inside an old nurse's station, she found hundreds of patient records scattered across the floor. Some pages were burned, others soaked in old blood. One folder lay open on the desk. Name, Mara Hensley. Admission date, October 4th, 1975. Diagnosis, severe dissociative delusions. Believes she is a psychiatrist investigating her own facility. She stared at it, her pulse roaring in her ears. No, this isn't real. But there it was, in her handwriting, the doctor's signature. Dr. M. Hensley attending. She backed away, knocking over the chair. Her breathing quickened. The walls seemed to tilt, the lights dimming even though there was no electricity. The intercom crackled. Greater than Dr. Hensley to Ward C. The patient is waiting. Ward C. The door to Ward C was swollen shut, but as she pushed, it opened with a deep, wet groan. Inside were rows of cells, the doors hanging open. Metal beds, straps, claw marks on the walls. The smell of rust and something worse, rot. She swept her flashlight across the floor and froze. Footprints, bare, wet, leading down the hall. Her own footprints beside them. She followed them, heart pounding like thunder. At the end of the hall was a room with no number. The door had no handle, just a long, vertical crack in the wood, like someone had tried to claw their way out. The door creaked open on its own. Inside was a single chair, a mirror on the wall opposite. And sitting in the chair was her reflection. Mara's flashlight flickered. The woman in the chair, her double, looked up slowly. Same red hair, same torn coat, same blood on her cheek she hadn't realized was there. "Who are you?" Mara whispered. The reflection tilted her head. "You know who I am." Mara stepped closer. "This isn't real." "You're not real." The other Mara smiled faintly. "Neither are you." Then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed everything. She heard footsteps circling her, her own voice whispering from every direction, mocking, laughing, sobbing. Greater than, "You left me here. You said you'd come back. You can't leave me again." The flashlight burst back to life. The chair was empty. The mirror, however, was not. Her reflection stood inside the glass, palms pressed against it from the other side. The glass bulged outward, cracking like ice under pressure. Mara screamed as hands, her own hands, burst through the surface and grabbed her shoulders, pulling her forward. Her face slammed into the cold glass. For an instant, she saw herself, eyes wide, mouth open.